So what does holding space and providing safety from a man to a woman look like for you?
Yeah, I don't know that yet. I'm really trying to understand that
Or
and
what,
exploring that.
what is your idea so far of it?
Well, that women are emotionally advanced, so they have ways of communicating emotions, and that for man, there's no point in trying to join a woman in that emotional um, in those emotional things. We just gotta like kind of hold our ground and be a stable like a rock in the ocean. You know, we are like man, you're the rock, and a woman is like a crashing wave, and the
Mm-hmm.
rock just stays solid. I think that's what women really want, is someone who's very stable in, could be in all levels of life, especially. And so it's a little contradiction, because it's like you don't want to get necessarily into the emotional too much, but you also want to hold a kind of safe environment in which a woman can completely share all her emotions, feel understood, feel heard. um, yeah, and being a really good listener is kind of part of holding that space.
But for that, you have to be pretty mentally and emotionally evolved yourself. Like you cannot hold space for the women and be emotionally regulated and not overreact yourself if
Yeah.
you're lost in your own emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like for men, that's a really huge lesson on its own,
Yeah.
because women are asking, like women will follow your lead, right?
Yeah.
So it's like the chicken and egg. It actually here it's very clear, because it obviously starts with the man
Uh-huh.
doing the work first, so that the woman can relax and not overreact and have the bursts of emotions, which women are generally more emotional.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, we don't have to be that emotional. We don't
No.
have to be triggered so much and react from our nervous system, but
Yeah.
we can still react if there's like true danger and true critical situation.
Yeah, that's true. At the same time, you said like that a man has to lead, and then the woman can follow the change. I think you have to do your own work separately,
For
and
sure.
like you are a great example of that. You had to go through a bit of rough patches, just like myself, and I guess many people can relate to that. And then you worked a lot on yourself so that you could show up differently and overcome whatever
But it's
traumas. I
still
don't
not
like the word.
100%.
No, that's where we come together, and can, I guess you can only do a certain amount of things on your own, and then you get together. Sami, and yeah, that's what I think makes a lot of sense to me. Well, it's very much a learning curve to me. I'm like, nobody taught me that. It's like, um, still, I'm also like in a man's group. We're working with other men and holding each other accountable and learning about all these things. But still, it's like kind of in a no man's land, or a new terrain of understanding how we as men function and how women function. So yeah, it's very interesting to learn that.
Yeah, it's pretty funny because, like you said, that you're all new to that. Nobody taught you that, but you still know a lot more than any other man that I've really met before. And I don't mean just romantically, but like
Yeah.
any man out there. Like it's pretty rare to have somebody who can hold so much space and be understanding. And oh, I don't even know how to how to describe that. But yeah, you don't overreact. Like you don't react to my overreactions, which is so, for me, that feels very safe, because then it's like, okay, like I don't like being triggered. I'm aware of being triggered, but sometimes I just give in and I let myself um, be taken away with the trigger. But you usually, like 95% of the time, you just you maintain your calm, and like then I can come back to my calm and see, okay, like there wasn't an evolution of a conflict because you didn't participate in my trigger. And I think that's so freaking refreshing, because I've never had that before. I was like, oh, he's not playing this game with me. I'm like, I'm trying to create some drama here and some conflict, and I'm like realizing it sometimes. I'm like, why am I even doing it? Like, there's no point. It's not a big deal. Like, it's not something super important.
No, you can
And
totally do that, but it's sometimes, I think we talked about it, where there's like this whole Hollywood movies where
yeah,
the
rom-com.
romantic rom-coms where it's like always the same storyline, and we are like
We're
that's probably
conditioned
like our
to think,
most,
yeah.
the education that we got on how to do relationships is Hollywood movies,
Even
where it's like,
yeah, look at Romeo and Juliet.
yeah,
It's like the most popular or most famous romantic story,
yeah,
and it's literally a couple killing themselves because they couldn't be together, but like maybe they could have if they even tried. They knew each other for a few days only too, so
they would
there's a
have
lot
done
that's
their
wrong with that.
yeah,
But yeah, I think the Hollywood scene, like everybody's growing up watching movies. Like it starts with fairy tales, which already is a little bit set up. It's like a prince saving a princess. Like she's going through struggles and she needs somebody to save her. So that's already like the wrong idea number one. And then we move on to rom-coms when we're teenagers or so, and so we're immediately conditioned. It's like, oh, there has to be some struggle
some
and
drama,
drama
and
and
then you can make up, and then it's
yeah,
better again.
yeah. So
Like
it's
that's cycles.
the dynamic is completely off, and that's what we see. Plus, if we're growing up in family that's dysfunctional, which I assume is most of us, unfortunately, then that's all we know. But then there's this other side of it. It's like, what if it can be easy and calm? Of course, it's not going to be 100%. Like, we're still,
Yeah.
the purpose of relationship is to grow better together and make each other better.
That's our WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
No, I think that was very clear when we got together, because we probably had, we each had our experience, good or bad, whatever, with other relationships, and then you kind of start to understand that you cannot, like, people say these sort of things like, oh, you complete me, and when I'm with you, like, I fulfill myself, all this stuff, which is, I don't know, could work, it couldn't, but it was like, it's very dangerous to put your well-being on how someone else felt. And that's what I did in a past relationship, was like, yeah, I my sole purpose was to make sure that she was happy, and in that pursuit I lost myself, and then obviously that ends into a disaster, um, because you have to take care of yourself first. Just like on the plane with the mask, you first gotta help yourself, and then, yeah. And so what we live by is like, okay, you do your own thing, you figure out a lot of things on your own, but then we get together and everything becomes even better. So that's what one of my mentors told, where he was trying to understand, like, he actually had 4 failed marriages, so he had a good deal of experiments, let's put it that way. And then he's like, what is it that I'm good on my own, but then why do I even need a partner? Some people would think that, oh yeah, and that's where a lot of people are, like, so individual. They don't, I don't need a partner, I'm super happy on my own. Well, the cool thing is, when you can be perfectly happy on your own, but when you're in a relationship, you can be even happier. So adding those, like, better, happier, more fulfilled,
more yourself.
More yourself, yeah, because obviously you get a mirror and you can grow. And yeah, you've been doing a great job at that to help me grow personally too. So it's like, you're already good, but then you become better.
That's how we came together, right? Like, we were both single for a few years, I think 4 to 5 years before we met each other.
Yeah.
And right before we met, I actually decided, it's like, I'm at this point where if I don't meet anybody and remain single for the rest of my life until my last breath, I'll be completely okay, because I know I have things to work towards. I have hobbies that I enjoy. I'm working on myself, and I can be of service to other people and just grow into this really cool old witchy lady with some cats, maybe. But I was like, there's so many options. Like, it's not the only thing to live for.
Yeah.
Although it's beautiful.
But and I think that is also, I just want to jump in, that's very attractive for men, which is kind of contradictory when women is like, whoa, she's doing things on her own and she's happy on her own. That's like, whereas if you meet a woman and she's like, oh, I want to be with you, and I want to, like, oh, you really complete me. That's like, some men are like, oh wait, this is kind of, repelling even. So
yeah, but it goes a little bit deeper because I used to be that person,
yeah,
and I was relating to other men from my wound of wanting to be chosen because I believed I was not lovable. And so from that, like there's this energy of desperation, and it's like choose me, pick me, like be with me, and nobody likes it. And if somebody does, it's usually a very very wrong person who's gonna abuse that.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
shit.
so it's never good to come from that energy. And also, if you have the need, like literally needs, like I need to be with somebody, you're not choosing usually the right partner, you're choosing the first partner that
No,
comes your way.
totally. But at the same time, that's really hard for people that like want to get into a relationship and they're ready for it and they don't find the partner. Like that can be challenging
It
too, right?
is. It is very challenging. It's
What
hard to
advice do you
explain it
have
to people.
for them actually?
Well, for me, like I just said what worked for me. I
Yeah,
like really worked on getting okay being alone, which part of that was completely removing dating and like no dating apps, no searching for men, no like of course like there's still thoughts occasionally, but it's like it's just thoughts. I like didn't give it any meaning. It's not like, oh, what if he likes me? What if he messages me? What if he talks to me? I was like, I removed everything. I was like, I don't care. It's not my problem right now. I'm not focusing on other things.
yeah,
So that was part of it. But then also for me, it's the energy of I want and I need signals that you don't have it. And so like the energy of it is lack. So it's like translates as like I don't have it.
oh yeah. So you get more universe. God gives you more of what you kind of put out there.
Yeah. So if you're okay with what you have right now, you'll get even more of those amazing things that you already have because you're in more of a mode of acceptance or
Yeah.
gratitude or even neutrality or peace, whatever it is. Whereas like if you're in desperation and you're trying to, it's like, oh, I need to get this, I want this, like when is it gonna come? Then you're pushing it away.
No, that's true. And I think interestingly enough, we both did this exercise that before we met, we kind of made a list, right? That's an interesting one to unpack.
Yeah.
To like, yeah, from my experience was like, okay, I was single for a while. I met all kinds of women, of course, too, and like you meet someone and it's like, oh, she's has this quality which is amazing, but then she doesn't have this and that. Meet someone else, she has this but he doesn't have that. And through that I was able to like understand what I really want in a relationship, and I made like a list of what, like, I want this, I want that, da da da. And getting like clear on what you want is also really helpful, because then, I don't know, some magical way you then meet. Because yeah, I don't know, what was your experience with that?
It also sets the standard for yourself.
Yeah.
Especially if you've had some bad experience before, which was for me. I did eventually, after I ended the most toxic relationship that I was in, I went on conscious dates, which was like I had no intention of really getting into relationship, but I just wanted to practice. I wanted to practice like setting boundaries and looking out for the red flags a little bit and seeing, okay, how do I feel for once, instead of always worrying. It's like, does he like me? Does he want to be with me? But it was like, okay, now I can choose. It's my time. So just practice that. And it helped me a lot. So once I wrote the list, I knew exactly what I wanted because I've been through so many situations that showed me, as you said, what I wanted and what I didn't want. So I was very specific, not to just be like, oh, I want somebody with curly hair.
Did you put that on there?
No. But it was more like I want somebody who has very healthy relationship with his family, or somebody who's emotionally mature and is able to communicate his feelings or whatever it is. So it went really deep because I knew that's what I actually needed from a man.
Yeah, that's very cool. It was, I think when we met and we shared the list, I was like, wow, it's like really almost exactly what we put on that list.
No, it was there was 50 things on my list, and like you matched so every single one of them.
Yeah. And I think it's also interesting that probably if we would have met, I don't know, it's hypothetical, but 5 years before, I wouldn't have I wouldn't have any chance. and I had to grow on my own. And then when I was, let's say, grown enough, then yeah, we had a friend introduce us to each other, and then it was like, okay, this feels really good. Yeah, I think that's interesting how that works. We don't really know how it works, but it does somehow. Yeah.
Yeah, what's meant to be will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's important also to add that the list wasn't just about the perfect partner, but also who I am as the perfect partner.
Yeah.
So I made also a list for that, because it's like, I know I'm not perfect and probably will never be, but this is like the idea that I have of the man and the idea of who I become or who I am when I'm with that man, which I think is like a component that most people overlook when they're doing this kind of practices.
Yeah, that's true. That's also what I don't remember that actually happening, but it did. Is like, you once you write that list and you may say something like, yeah, I want an emotional regulated person, you're gonna be like, okay, but how does that look like if I have that? Well, then I'm gonna have to be emotionally regulated myself, and I'm maybe not yet. So you kind of subconsciously start working on that. So that's really helpful, I think.
Yeah, but it's kind of funny because I think I wrote the list around September, and then in October we got introduced. So that worked really fast.
I think I had to wait. I wrote it, I think, a year or maybe 2 years before we met. Yeah.
Because you weren't ready yet.
No.
Which is good.
Yeah. Yeah, super interesting. What do you feel that is important in this? I'm just starting to learn about this. You actually have the book, The Art of Holding Space. I probably should start reading that. But what is really important for you in that? Or what do you learn, and why is it important for women to have someone that can hold space, container, whatever you want to call it, right? Yeah. What does it mean for you?
I think it's what I mentioned before. It's when, well, first of all, that you don't get taken away by your own emotions, so that you can just be the neutral, the anchor that brings me back to my normal, where I'm like, maybe I'm scared or I'm angry, whatever it is. Well, anyway, everything comes from fear. Whenever I've been triggered, when I went down to the root, it's always fear.
Well, that's not necessarily a bad thing either, right? Like, no. Sometimes the fear could be like an old thing, but maybe it's also something that I have done which triggered some fear in you, and then it's like, I think we had a situation around that. I don't know what it was exactly, but then it's really good for men to have a woman who's even emotional at times, because now you get to like sharpen your blade or your spear, because now she's putting something on you and you're like, oh yeah, I may have to work on myself or become better. That's, I think, what is also interesting, and that men don't have to be scared of having emotional load coming on you. That's, I think, healthy actually.
Well, it depends if it's respectful or...
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And I think men have to also communicate that to your partner when it's like you're hitting someone under the belt, or you're giving a gut punch and it's not done respectfully, that you also say like, hey, I don't like the way you're putting this. That
yeah.
So that's like kind of you communicate your values in that sense.
Yeah, put your boundaries and limits up, because I think that's what actually women respect a lot. Like, we will test you, and we're just like push you, like, to see how far we can go sometimes. And it's sometimes, I think it's very unconscious. We just do it because we can.
Yeah, it's your emotional intelligence that's embedded in you since you were a cave woman or something.
Yeah, but it's like it feels good when you say no, when you're just like, okay, like, hey, like, I don't like your tone, or like, don't say those words to me, like, I don't feel like I deserve being treated this way, or whatever it is in that moment. I think that's very respectful for us, and it like makes us feel better about you. It's like, oh, I can respect this man, he has his values and standards in place.
I agree, and I think both for a woman it's good because she can express herself, and for um, a man it's good because like your home environment or your relationship, whatever, and that actually that's the space. This is a perfect playground slash exercise ground, or a dojo we could call it, because you'll be faced with something that might be uncomfortable, you'll work through it, and now you become a better man, and now you go out in the world hunting or business or whatever you pursuing, which is part of your purpose, then you're gonna be better. And that's actually like also the purpose of a woman, is to test a man so that when he does go out into the world, that he's actually more on point, more respectful, more whatever. Yeah, I think there's a certain dynamic that women help men a lot by being or acting emotional. Where you kind of, you're throwing constantly like exercises at men, and it's weird, like, oh, sometimes she's right, sometimes I have to set my boundaries, and you're learning how to do that. I just realized this, I think.
Not everybody sees it that way. That's why there's so many conflicts, because I think a lot of men take it personally, because it's like it's an attack on their ego more than anything. And like you're attacking the wounds that they have, because like we're here together because we have the wounds that fit each other perfectly. So but back to the holding space question. So like apart from the emotions, holding the emotions in a very calm and like regulated way, I would say, let me give it a thought for a second. A big one a big one is at least asking, like, what do you need from me? Because the male default, which I think most people know now, is to fix stuff. And just like that itself can be very triggering, because it's like can you just listen to me? Like can you, like, I'm just trying to like tell you something or express something, or I don't know, just like hold me. Sometimes like holding me is enough, right? Like you don't even need to say something.
No.
But when you like start providing solutions, like I'm aware that this is how men function. So
it's a very hard one. It's a very tricky one.
Tough. But it's like if we know how women and men work, and like how they function on like more subconscious level, then you can detach from it a little bit, but still it's like in the moment of trigger and like there's lots of emotions, it's still pretty hard to disconnect from that. So even though I know it's like, oh, I know that that's his default and he thrives in fixing and solving problems, I'm still like, okay, like, can you just give me what I need right now? Just maybe a hug, maybe, I don't know, like tell me something nice, like ask me a question, or like, how do you, I don't know, like anything, but like anything but fixing, I think is the big one.
I think actually in general, unsolicited advice, or
it's very annoying, especially when it comes from men. Like in surfing, that has happened so many times, but if it was at least a good advice, then I would be happy to take it. But it's usually like the stupidest advice. It's like, yeah, no, I would do it if I could. Which is like, pop up faster. I'm like, I'm trying. It's just my body cannot do it.
Not yet.
Yeah,
it's really, and that's a one that I had to learn by doing. To not, you're like in your job or in business, you're constantly fixing things. And then you want to come home or whatever, be in the space again, and then you continue that, very bad idea. And I think also for men, there's no point in trying to, you got to be emotionally regulated, but women are so much more advanced in many ways, especially emotionally, that trying to kind of join that emotionalness to understand, fix, like, forget it, it's impossible. Like women, I believe women have to also have their they have to, women amongst women, and then they can talk. And man should be among men, and then do other things, and then you learn again, and you come better together again. I think there's, what was that saying again about that men like to do a lot of stuff when they are together. They like to, I don't know, do physical activities, go running, hunting, whatever. And women like to talk a lot about stuff. And so that's what you should do, because you cannot expect that. You cannot really expect from a man to have like deep, I don't know, a man has to be a good listener, but he doesn't necessarily has to be like a conversationist partner. I think that's better for women to do amongst themselves to a certain degree.
I partially agree and partially disagree.
Yeah, it's a tough
because
one.
there's one thing which is that a lot of women, especially, I assume some men do it too, but I think mostly women depend on men to fulfill too many roles that he's not supposed to fulfill. Like he's the friend, he's the mother, he's the father, he's the sister. Like he becomes everything, and like then the woman offloads all of her stuff on him. It's like she doesn't even consider like what he's been going through, and it's just like he's been working the whole day and working on his business and being stressed, and then she comes and like just like puts everything on him to kind of help herself, right? So like in those terms we need our women in our lives as well to offload some part to them and then come back to the men without like all the emotional load that we've been carrying, and just like have more balance. At the same time, what you said, what was it again? That men don't have to be like good at conversation.
Maybe at like let's say emotional conversations, or even trying to understand the woman at a deeper level. We can't. We're not emotionally advanced to. But the thing is, we can listen and hold the space and be there, and definitely do an attempt at understanding. But then maybe for a man, it's also good to communicate when it's like, wow, this is really hectic, and I'm just not emotionally capable of fully understanding that. It's okay. I think you should have a chat with your friend or your girlfriend, and talk more about that. I think that's healthy too, to be able for a man to say,
but you need to be
I don't
able
really
to
understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I want to help you as much as I can, or be there, but I think it's good to talk this over with your friends.
No, there was one specific situation where when you told me that.
Is it? Oh yeah, and that was that was a mistake.
It was in that moment, it was a mistake, because so that's the thing, you don't see where I'm coming from. Like now we had the situation with the sweater where I wanted to wash the wool sweater on like high temperature because there's a stain that cannot come off, and you thought that I was like, oh, you ruined it, and I'm like, no, I was just trying to make it better, but in the process like it went sideways. But yeah, when that time you told me like, oh, maybe you should talk to one of your girlfriends, I was like, but I'm telling you, like, if like I've never said that to anybody before, and it like for me it felt very like it didn't feel safe to share it, because it's like it's hard to put this into words for me and say it out loud, because I've never done that before, and like you're the person that I chose to trust enough to actually say it and like to have a conversation about it, and then you were like, go talk to your friends.
Like, I framed it wrongly, I'd say. I think I could have listened more, try and understand more, but then still communicate that in a respectful way. It's like, this is just beyond my capacities. I'm there for you. I can help you. I'm there to always listen. But I'm not the person to help you with that.
That's where like communication is about that. It's just like saying the real truth, because when you say you should talk to your friends instead of me, then it sounds super dismissive, and it's like, oh, like I don't want to deal with that. But if you say what you just said, it's like this is heavy, I don't know how to deal with it, it's like I don't know what to say, like how to respond. Then we can actually have a conversation from that, because we'll be like, oh, I don't need you to respond, I just need you to listen to me right now, and like you don't need to say anything.
No, that's true. That's something I didn't understand a few months ago. Like I think a good question is to ask: do you want me to listen? Do you want my advice? Or what? There's three things, I think. If a woman comes to you and she's like, oh, I'm going through this thing, You can always ask to be safe. Do you want my advice? Do you want me to listen? Or
I would say something with physical touch would be an option. Just like, do you need a hug or
yeah, I think that
yeah. Yeah,
that's pretty much what a man can do.
that's a good starter kit.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
So, would you say that we are creating a conscious relationship?
Yes, I think it's a probably, I don't know if you would agree, but it's maybe a spectrum, like how conscious you can be, and there's always more ways to be more conscious. And
Mm.
like, I'm not perfect, and I
Neither
will,
am I.
but at least we're doing a very good attempt at it, I think. And in my opinion, this is like really what it's one of the things that I wanted in a woman, is to be have like full transparency, openness, and whatever happens, we talk about it. We even have a rule that I think installed, or maybe it was you, I don't know.
What is it?
Like, we don't go to bed if there's
That's
a problem,
yours.
and like, we don't go to bed with that problem. We either, I think I got it from Jordan Peterson, which he applies with his wife. Like, either when a problem appears and it's the end of the day, we talk about it and we get as far as we can get in. Again, I don't want to, I have to be careful solving it. Yeah, yeah, resolving that conflict. Or we say, okay, let's, if time it's getting late or whatever, okay, let's talk tomorrow and do that, because otherwise you may like put off things and be like, oh, it's not that important, and then you're putting stuff in your backpack again.
Yeah.
And you're starting to carry that in your relationship, and then it's one thing and another thing, and yeah. So I think that is a good rule for me to live by, to address whatever is happening. It actually came from my grandfather too. He said, don't go to bed with what is it, I don't know the English word. So, when you're worried, don't go to bed with worries in your mind or something. Yeah, because he lived to 96.
So something worked there.
Yeah, so I think that's very good to live by. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So moving back to the question, like, if we're creating conscious relationship, what does conscious relationship actually mean? Like, what is your idea of it?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, what does consciousness mean? No, we can go there. No, I think it's like, yeah, whatever is on your mind that is going well or not well, that you can share that and be open about it and not be scared to be judged. Or yeah, I think that's as far as I can get. Probably there's way more than that. So what do you think a conscious relationship really is?
I think it starts with each person involved, as we said before. It's like the work starts with you internally. So the further you go internally, and like the more aware you are of your thoughts and your feelings and your triggers and your wounds and your childhood and everything that has happened in your life, I think the more capacity you have to create the conscious relationship, which is exactly like, in which moments do you really need to be conscious? It's like, for me, it's being present with your partner. So
Yeah.
like really paying attention to what they say so that you can actually respond and be there with them, because otherwise, if you're dissociated the whole time, what are you really doing together, right?
No, that's a good one.
That's one thing. Another one is like, especially the moments of triggers, which is a moment of crisis where conflict usually happens. I would say that's where the conscious relationship really shows. It's like how much awareness you have of your wounds that are reflecting in that specific moment of the trigger, and how much emotional stability, or like how much capacity in your nervous system you have to regulate it, and then do it together. Like, create a support system so that you can be there for each other and make each other either navigate the triggers better, or like navigate anything in within the life and within the relationship in a way that supports both people and works for both people. Because like, one of my fears is just like seeing how most married couples with kids function, and it just feels very lonely and heavy from what I've seen, because like the mother is always overloaded and stressed and like depleted and doesn't take care of herself, and she's just like gaining weight and she's not happy with herself, doesn't have free time or hobbies. Whereas the man, like, he's the provider, so he's of course working most of the days, but he still has the time to like work out and meet with friends, and he still has a life apart outside of the family. And so
I think that's partially true, because I think what you said definitely true, and there's probably a lot of those relationships, and I don't want to make your point smaller, but there's a lot of men out there that are constantly grinding,
yes,
that think like the only thing they have to do is to provide, and they sacrifice all their time to do that, and then they're not present at home, and that's a huge fear for me. That's really
yeah,
what I don't want.
but
So I think there's both ways.
that's where the conscious relationship comes in.
Yeah,
Because if it's unconscious, it will create separation.
yeah,
It's like,
it's
oh,
like
he's grinding and she's suffering with her
kids
kids
and
at home, and
yeah,
she's like not happy with her life, and then he's not happy with his life either,
yeah.
because he's just working.
Mm.
But they don't communicate, they don't share it, they don't express it, they just like keep it
Yeah, and then they
inside.
don't
And
have any intimacy, and
yeah,
that,
and there's like passive aggressive behavior and like all these fights, and like it's just like running in loops and nothing's being resolved. And so that's where conscious relationship is different, because you're not waiting for the problem to happen all the time, but you're preventing it because you're communicating enough about everything. I think that's the main thing, so that you're creating connection, because like relationship is all about connection.
yeah,
So you're not working towards separation as those like normal couples that do it the way that most people are taught to do it, or
yeah. That's kind of
shown.
normalized too. So
Yeah,
everyone's like, yeah, you gotta power through this phase, and then kids are 18, and all of a sudden, like, oh, what happened?
yeah, and then everybody's getting divorced because it's just not working out and nobody knows why.
Yeah, that's a big one. How many, like, the amount of divorce is
Too
huge,
much.
no?
It's way too much.
Yeah, that's probably because we've, yeah, why is this not taught in school, or we're not, why don't, yeah, I guess it's
It
part
will
of
be.
the generational, like, I always thought that it's quite interesting, like three to four generations ago, there was like, these were my ancestors, they went through World War One and Two, probably had to deal with lots of big trauma.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I even have my grandfather, after the war, they became, as a soldier, he became really traumatized, PTSD, I guess what they call it now, and then he became an alcoholic, and they had like 6 children. I think my grandmother was the youngest, and then he killed himself, or he died of alcoholism or something, and then his wife, who was an only mother with 6 children, she went to go help, and she went to her parents to say like, hey, I'm really struggling, I'm 6 kids, I can't do this. And back in those days, they said like, suck it up, you fix it. And then she committed suicide, and that's how my grandmother grew up.
That's
And
heavy, yeah.
then you have those generational patterns that come in. Yeah, I don't know if that's relevant, but I guess that's where we're kind of coming from in many families. Some families have to deal with that today, or abuse and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So then it's very dysfunctional, but then it's also a beautiful thing, like almost like in honor of your ancestors, is to fix this. They're looking down on you, like, wow, she's doing amazing, she's fixing these things that I was always struggling with, and he's doing so well. I guess that's evolution or advancement in humanity. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like we're in a time where not doing the work is just not acceptable anymore, because we have all the resources that nobody ever had before. It's like if you're not doing the work to be a better human and live a better life,
Yeah,
it's a disservice to the world, really.
Yeah, that's true. And your ancestors in that sense
And
too.
your ancestors.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah.
Nice. I think this is a great point to end our conversation, but we'll continue off camera.
Nice.
Nice. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you
Thank
for
you.
having me.
Yes.
Nice.
Good
That
stuff.
was fun.
That was very fun. You
What
did
did you
great.
think? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you too.
Thank you.
You're a great conversationist.